A team of scientists drilled through 2 miles of ice in the most isolated region on Earth. What they pulled up from the darkness below wasn't supposed to exist. The sample was immediately classified. The lead researcher was removed from the project within 48 hours. No explanation was given. No data was ever published. But someone leaked the photographs, and what you're about to see has been deliberately kept from the public for more than a decade. Stay with me, because what happens next changes everything. Antarctica, the frozen continent at the bottom of the world, a wasteland of ice and silence. For most of human history, it remained untouched, unexplored, unknown. But in recent decades, something shifted. Governments poured billions into research stations scattered across the ice. They called it climate science. They called it geological research. But the truth is far more complicated. Because beneath the ice, discoveries have been made. Discoveries that don't fit our understanding of history. Discoveries that raise questions no one in power wants to answer. It started in 2013, a joint international drilling operation near Lake Vostok, a subglacial lake buried under nearly 2.5 miles of ice. The lake had been sealed off from the surface for millions of years, a completely isolated ecosystem. Scientists expected to find ancient microbes, simple life forms frozen in time. What they found was something else entirely. The samples contained biological material that shouldn't exist, organisms with genetic markers that didn't match anything in known databases. But here's where it gets strange. Within weeks of the discovery, the entire team was reassigned. The drill site was abandoned. All research materials were confiscated by military personnel. No peer review, no scientific paper, just silence. One of the scientists, a microbiologist from Norway, tried to speak out. He gave an interview to a small science journal. He described structures in the samples, geometric patterns, too precise to be natural. He said the team believed they had found evidence of something constructed, something artificial. The interview was published online for less than 6 hours before it was scrubbed. The scientist disappeared from public view. Colleagues say he was offered a settlement, a very large settlement, in exchange for his silence. But that's just one incident. There are others. In 2018, radar imaging detected a massive metallic anomaly buried beneath the ice in Wilkesland. The anomaly measured over 200 miles in diameter. Scientists proposed it was the remains of an asteroid impact, a crater from an ancient collision. But the readings didn't support that theory. The object was too dense, too symmetrical. Some researchers quietly suggested it could be a mass concentration of metallic ore. Others whispered something different, something far more unsettling. Before any follow-up studies could be conducted, the research was defunded. The lead team was dissolved. The data was sealed under national security protocols. Then there are the coordinates. In 2016, internet users discovered strange censorship on satellite mapping platforms. Certain regions of Antarctica were blurred, pixelated, hidden. When questioned, the companies claimed it was due to image resolution issues, but independent investigators compared the censored zones. They lined up perfectly with restricted military zones, areas where civilians are forbidden, areas where even credentialed researchers require special clearance to approach. What's in those zones? No one outside government circles will say. Here's what we do know. In the 1940s, the United States launched Operation High Jump, an expedition led by Admiral Richard Byrd, the largest Antarctic expedition ever assembled at that time. 13 ships, 4,000 personnel, military forces, for what was officially described as a training mission. Admiral Byrd returned early. The mission was cut short. In a press conference afterward, Byrd made a strange statement. He said America needed to prepare for the possibility of hostile craft capable of traveling from pole to pole at incredible speeds. The military dismissed his comments. Byrd was quietly reassigned. The full details of Operation High Jump were classified for decades. Fast forward to the modern era. In 2020, a group of climate researchers working near the Ross Ice Shelf made an unexpected discovery. They were drilling ice cores when they hit something solid. Not rock, not frozen sediment, metal. They carefully extracted a fragment. The metal was smooth, machined, clearly manufactured. The team documented everything. They sent samples for analysis. The results came back inconclusive. The metal's composition didn't match any known alloy. Before they could investigate further, their permits were revoked. The site was declared off-limits. A government-sponsored team arrived and removed all materials. The original researchers were told their findings were contaminated, that the metal was debris from an old research station. But no station had ever been built in that location. Then there are the whistleblowers, former military personnel who served at Antarctic bases. Some have come forward anonymously. They describe underground facilities far larger than what's publicly acknowledged. Massive excavation projects beneath the ice, restricted zones where only personnel with the highest clearance are allowed. They talk about strange equipment being transported under heavy security, technology they didn't recognize. One former naval officer claimed he witnessed a perfectly circular entrance carved into the ice. He said it led downward into a tunnel system. He was ordered never to speak of it. So what's really down there? What did those scientists find in 2013? What is the metallic anomaly beneath Wilkes Land? Why are sections of the continent hidden from satellite view? Why were military forces sent to investigate a training mission in the 1940s? Why are researchers being silenced? Why is access so heavily controlled? The answers exist, but they're locked behind layers of classification, guarded by governments who insist there's nothing to see. But the ice is melting. Climate change is revealing what's been hidden for millennia. And as the frozen surface recedes, more anomalies are appearing, more questions are being raised. The truth, whatever it is, won't stay buried forever. The real question is whether we're ready for what's been waiting beneath the ice. Because if the whispers are true, if even a fraction of these discoveries are real, then everything we think we know about our history is about to change. And somewhere in Antarctica, right now, something is still down there, waiting.